Well, good morning. Welcome. So, if you're not already at your practice space, go ahead and bring yourself to your spot and we'll start laying down today. And so, as you come down to rest on your back, take a moment to step your feet a little wider than your hips and just sway your knees from side to side. Get just a little bit of movement in the body in a very gentle way to start here. As you're continuing to sway your knees side to side, let your head also sway side to side. Doesn't really matter if the head goes the same direction as the knees or the opposite, but just let your head flop a bit as well. All right, and then come back to stillness at center. Take both knees in toward your chest, give them a gentle squeeze, a little bit of a rock from side to side. Massage your back, your hips, the back of your head. And then let your hands come to rest on your kneecaps, and then you'll start to draw circles with your knees. A couple of circles in one direction. And then a couple of circles the opposite way. All right, from here, roll to your left side. And as you roll to the left, you might rest your head on your left arm, the floor, or a soft prop like a pillow or a block. And then take your right hand to your right shoulder and start to rotate. A couple of circles in one direction. And a couple of circles the opposite way. All right, and then if you are laying on your left arm, go ahead and untuck it. And then stack your arms so that your right hand is on top of your left hand and your fingers are basically reaching in the direction that you're looking. All right, take a breath in here with your hands together. And then as you exhale, let the right fingertips drag along the floor above your head, just drawing a half circle until you come all the way into a twist. And we'll do this a couple more times. Inhale the arms back together. And then as you exhale, let the right fingertips maintain contact with the floor as you draw this half circle above your head and come all the way into a twist. And then we'll do that one more time. Inhale the arms back together. And exhale, draw that half circle with your right hand and arm. Try to keep the fingers on the floor all the way if you can. And now as we come into this twist, just make yourself as comfortable as possible. So I often like to take my left hand to the knees and then experiment with the angle of this right arm. Take it higher or lower, depending on what you feel in your right shoulder. Finding sensation that is interesting for today and something that feels safe to relax into. So you don't want it to be so intense that you're hyper focused on it and you can't let go. So find an angle that allows you to soften, that allows you to relax. And then start to relax other parts of the body, like your face, your jaw, your forehead in particular. All right, take one more round of breath. And now we bring our knees back to center. Maybe it's one knee at a time to make it really easy on your low back. And then as you come to center, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest, reaching through for that left leg. Now, if reaching all the way to your left shin or even behind the knee is not comfortable or possible due to proportions, you could just grab your right leg instead and either just hold that right foot, or maybe one hand, your left hand, grabs your right foot, and then your right hand grabs your knee. The function of your left leg in this posture is to help pull the right leg toward your chest. And so if grabbing through to that left leg doesn't work, then just don't worry about the left leg because we're really trying to focus on this right leg in this posture. Either way, take 3 more breaths. All right, after you release that third breath, release your left leg all the way along the floor, but hug your right knee in toward your chest. And maybe you're grabbing around the shin or behind the knee, either way. Let the knee move a bit from side to side. And then just keep that right leg drawn in, but release your arms down to the floor so they're out of the way. And then take a few rotations through your right hip so your knee draws a big circle in space. All right, take a few circles the opposite way. Now, the next time your right knee comes in toward your chest, go ahead and catch it again, but catch it behind the knee so that you're able to straighten your right leg a little bit or a lot. And so find your edge of sensation, which kind of means find an amount of sensation that holds your attention, that doesn't feel like it's absolutely too much. And then just bend the knee and straighten the leg a few times. All right, one more breath. All right, now let the leg stay as straight as it's able to be here. Release your arms down again. Take your right leg out to the side and just experiment with how far does the leg want to go. And then slowly bring the leg back up. We'll do this a couple of times. Take the right leg out and back up. And then one more like that, out to the side and back up. Now cross this right leg all the way over to the floor on the left side. So again, let it stay straight as much as possible. And then you might need to shift your hips a little bit so that your right hip is now on top of your left hip. And then perhaps your left hand just kind of catches that right leg to hold it in place as you now take your right arm back over to the right. So similar to the bent knee twist that we were in, but now the legs are straight. All right, take 3 more rounds of breath. All right, now before releasing the twist, let the right knee bend and then bring that right leg back to center. Keep the right knee bent and then drop it out to the right side. So the right foot is on the inside of your left foot or left leg. Right knee bent out to the side. And just pause a moment. Take a couple of breaths. All right, and then let both knees bend. Point the knees up toward the ceiling. Step the feet wider than the hips, and once again, sway the knees side to side. As you're swaying your knees, again, let your head sway side to side. All right, come to stillness. And this time we roll to the right side. So, as before, you might rest your head on your right arm, the floor, or a soft prop. And then we'll take the left hand to the left shoulder and start to rotate. A couple of times in one direction. And a couple of times the opposite way. All right, now if you are laying on your right arm, go ahead and untuck it. And then stack the arms with the fingertips reaching in the direction that you're looking. Take a breath in here with the palms together. And then as you exhale, let your left fingertips draw that half circle above your head. So try to keep your left hand touching the floor, if possible, all the way into the twist. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale the arms back together. Exhale, left fingertips draw that half circle above your head and over to your left. All right, one more, breathing in. Arms back together, exhale, draw that half circle. All right, and as you come into the twist, this third time, make yourself comfortable. Perhaps your right hand rests on your knees, and then you experiment with how high you want to take that left arm. Where do you find interesting but safe feeling sensation? In your left shoulder. All right, take one more round of breath. And then we'll ease the knees back to center, perhaps one at a time, to make it really easy on the low back. And then once you're back to center, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest, reaching through for that right leg. Rock a bit side to side. And again, if grabbing the right leg is not comfortable or possible, just hold on to the left leg itself. Either one hand to knee, one hand to foot, or both hands on the foot. Rock a little side to side. And we'll take 3 more rounds of breath. All right, so after your third round of breath, release that right leg all the way down to the floor. Hug the left knee into the chest. Give it a gentle squeeze, maybe around the shin or behind the knee. And then just let your knee move a bit from side to side. All right, keep the leg drawn in, release your arms. Start to rotate through your left hip by drawing a circle with your knee a few times in one direction. And a few times the opposite way. All right, now the next time your left knee comes in toward your chest, go ahead and catch your leg but behind the knee so that you can experiment with straightening your left leg. So just straighten a little bit and then bend the knee, and just do this several times, finding your edge of sensation. All right, so the next time that you straighten that left leg, keep it as straight as it's able to be, but release your arms. And then slowly take your left leg out to the left side as far as it wants to go. And then bring your leg back up to center. And we'll do this a few times. Slowly out to the side. Keep reaching through your foot. Back up to center. One more of those out to the side. And back up to center. Now let your right hand come and grab that left leg and bring it all the way over toward the floor on the right. You might need to shift your hips a little bit so they're stacked. And then take your left arm back over to the left. Again, this may feel similar to the bent knee twist, but this time we have our legs straight. So there may be unique and different sensations that you feel with that subtle difference. All right, take 3 more breaths. All right, before we release the twist on this side, let that left knee bend. Slowly guide your left leg back through center with that knee still bent, and then drop the left knee out to the side. Similar to a tree pose, but laying on your back. Left foot to the inside of the right leg. All right, and then let both knees bend. Pointing up toward the ceiling, once again sway the knees side to side. All right, when you're ready, turn over to one side and press yourself up and into a seated position. As you bring yourself into a seat, make sure that it is comfortable for you. So you might be sitting cross-legged like I am. You might be sitting up on a cushion or up on your heels, maybe in a small chair, but sit in a way that you're comfortable. And then we'll take our palms together in front of the heart, interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and up. And begin to reach up through one hand and up through the other side. Left and right, side to side, gently pull on the fingers, lengthening each side of the body, perhaps sensing all the way down to your low back. All right, let the hands release, take them behind the back, interlace the fingers there, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up across the chest, gently turn the head from side to side. All right, and then reach your chin up and drop it down. Again, lifting up and dropping down. One more lift and drop. All right, as you bring your head up to center, release the hands. Let the right hand come down to the floor, but walk it out a little bit. And then we'll sweep the left arm up alongside the head. Reaching with that left hand, squeeze and release the fingers a few times, as well as rotate through the wrist. All right, as you inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, release that hand down. Walk it out. Lean into your left hand. Sweep your right arm up alongside your head. Reaching with your hands, squeeze and release the fingers, as well as rotate through the wrist. A few times each way. All right, with an in breath, lift up. And with your out breath, release your right hand. All right, from here, take your right leg out at an angle. We'll take this right hand across to the left knee and left hand towards the floor behind you. As you inhale, grow tall. And as you exhale, begin to twist to the left. Turn the head to look back, and then turn the head to look over to the right, perhaps spotting your right big toe. And just allow your head to continuously and slowly turn as much as is comfortable and possible as you breathe. Connecting with a sense of length as you breathe in, expansion outwards, and then drawing back in toward your center as you breathe out. All right, now slowly come back to center. Walk your hands out in between your legs and just come to a point of moderate sensation. Does not have to be intense at all. Probably mostly feel it in the back of the right leg, but maybe some around this left hip as well. But just walk your hands out a few inches perhaps and pause there. Let your head drop and take a few rounds of breath, noticing the sensation as it arises and shifts and changes. All right, take one more round of breath. And then walk your hands back in. We'll take our arms out to the sides and then bring them forward. Let the right arm go underneath so that you can twist your arms together. If your arms don't do that, perhaps you can take elbows together and palms together. Either way, start to lift the arms up so you create a stretch between your shoulder blades. But at the same time, let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. So finding some space between the shoulder blades, take a few cycles of breath. All right, unravel the arms, release them, shake them out a little bit, and then we'll switch our legs. So take your left leg out, fold your right leg in. We'll start with the twist. So take your left hand across over to that right knee, and then right hand towards the floor behind you. Inhale as you grow tall, and exhale as you twist to the right. And then maintain the twist from your shoulders down, but turn just the head back over to the left, perhaps spotting your left big toe. And then let the head continuously and slowly turn within your comfortable range of motion. All right, take one more round of breath. And then release back to center. Start to walk your hands out between your legs, couple inches, maybe a foot, depending on how far it takes for you to start to feel a big stretch in the back of your left leg. Let your head drop. Allow yourself to soften into what you feel. But as always, if it's too much, if it doesn't feel safe, then back off. Find a place that feels safe and comfortable. All right, take one more cycle of breath. And then we'll walk the hands back in, lifting up. Take the arms out to the sides. And then as you bring your arms forward, this time we'll take the left arm underneath, twisting the arms together. Again, if your arms don't do this twisty thing here, you can take your elbows and palms together. And then either way, you're lifting fingertips up so that you create a stretch between your shoulder blades on your back. Take a few cycles of breath. All right, and then unravel the arms. You can shake them out. All right, we'll go ahead and come down onto the front of our bodies. And as you come all the way down onto your front, take your left arm out to the side so it's directly out from your shoulder. Now, you might experiment with whether you want to keep the arm straight or whether you want to bend your elbow at about 90 degrees for this left shoulder stretch. So you can experiment with which way you want to do it. Typically, if you have very open shoulders, either not a lot of muscle mass or you're just very flexible in your shoulder, you might do the bent elbow version because that helps to keep your shoulder more in alignment. If you are a little bit tighter in your shoulder, you might keep your arm straight because then you have a little bit more flexibility with the position of the arm bone relative to your shoulder. So experiment with which way works best for you for this shoulder. And then turn your head over to the right, and then just rest your head on the floor. Now, with your right hand, push down so that you start to turn your chest away from the floor and create that stretch in your left shoulder. Now, maybe like me, you stack your legs, maybe you keep that right knee down on the floor for a little support, or maybe you step your right foot back to intensify the sensation. But again, we're just looking for enough sensation to hold our attention, but not something so intense that it's painful or doesn't feel safe to relax into. And as you come into your version of this posture, really check and see, are you relaxing? Is it possible? And then take 5 breaths. All right, after your 5th breath, roll back onto your front. Take that left arm down alongside your torso to pause and rest. All right, now we'll do the other side. So when you're ready, take your right arm directly out from your shoulder Again, you might keep your arm straight or you might bend your elbow at 90 degrees, depending on what is most supportive in your right shoulder. So you'll have to experiment and feel it out, see what works best for you. And then turn your head over to the left. Press down into that left hand. Perhaps you keep your left knee down on the floor. Maybe you stack your legs or step the left foot back. Keep in mind that one shoulder might need a different version of the pose for you to feel comfortable and safe to relax. So experiment with all the versions. Doesn't have to be the same on this side as it was on the left side. And then take 5 breaths. All right, after your 5th breath, slowly roll back onto your front. Take that right arm down alongside the body to pause and rest. All right, then when you feel ready, press up onto hands and knees and then sit back towards your feet into child's pose. We'll conclude our practice here in child's pose. Take several rounds of breath. As always with child's pose, you might have your knees either close together or nice and wide apart to give your torso some space. And as you bring your torso forward, your head might rest on your hands, your head might rest on the floor. If it's comfortable, you might take your hands back near your feet. There's just so many variations in child's pose here. And then we'll take 10 rounds of breath. All right, after your 10th breath, gradually come back into your seated position. And we'll bring our palms together in front of the heart. As we bow to the light within ourselves, we also bow to the light within each other. Thank you again for practicing with me today. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.